Hello everyone, welcome to the class. In this session, we are going to learn about virtual base classes. So, here let us understand one situation. Consider a situation where the program design would require one base class, call it A. I am taking this is base class A. Okay, so consider a situation where the program design would require one base class, call it A. So this program design will require a base class A and two derived classes, namely B and C. I am taking two derived classes, one B and C. So all of you know that the base class meaning and derived class meaning. A derived class is derived from this base class. A class is which is derived from the base class is called derived class. A class is which is inherited from the another class by a other class is called base class. So in the program design we have taken base class, one base class and two derived classes. Now which are inherited from the base class A. So see, observe here, which are inherited from the base class A. That means this will be inherited from the base class A. From this class it will be inherited. So that means get one copy of the base class data. It will bring one copy of base class data. And here also C derived class get one copy of base class data. Further, derived class D is created from B and C. Derived class D is created from B and C. See, observe here. This derived class D is derived from whom? From B and C. It is derived. Okay. Now, in the public inheritance, B and C inherit one copy of the base class data. So all of you know that B and C inherit one copy of the base class data, whereas derived class D inherited from B and C. Derived class D is inherited from B and C. Get two copies of the base class data. See here, one copy of data it will take by the class derived class D. Again another copy of data will take by the derived class D. That means two copies of the base class data it is bringing. Okay. Now suppose a member function of D now wants to access the data members of the base class. So this is the most important thing we have to understand. Here suppose a member function D wants to access the data members of the base class. So see, observe here without taking help of this derived classes, D class wants to access base class data directly. What happens? That's what we are explaining here. Suppose a member function D wants to access data members of the base class, an ambiguity problem, that means confusion will occur. Ambiguity problem of which of the two copies is access will be encountered. So the problem will be occurred. So the compiler will generate an error message for this ambiguity. So now I wanted to access the data from the base class from derived class. What happens? An ambiguity will occur. So once if ambiguities occur, so what happens? So we cannot inherit the data from the base class, right? Correct? So the base class data cannot be inherited to this derived class T. So that is the major problem we are facing here. Understood? Okay. So how to overcome this? To overcome this problem, the derived class B and C should be declared as virtual. So this derived class B and C we are declared as virtual. So whenever if you are placing derived classes as virtual, we can inherit the data from base class to derived class D very easily. That is the biggest advantage. Okay, now let us take one programming example. One example I am taking. This is what? Class A. This is class B, class C and class D. Okay. So in this class A, I am making class B as virtual and class A as virtual. So we can inherit the data from A to D directly. So without placing virtual, we cannot inherit the data from this class and this class. So that is the explanation of this virtual base class. So you have to write, this example is compulsory. This is what base class. These are the derived class B, derived class C, derived class D. Okay now. So what did you understand from this? So again, see here what I am explaining you. We have a class A, that is a base class. We have two derived classes B and C which are inherited from the base class A. So base class A, these are inherited, B and C. Further derived class D is created from B and C. Okay. Now public inheritance, B and C inherit one copy of the base class data. Here one copy of base class data, it will be inherited. So it will get two copies of the base class data. D. Okay now, D will receive the two copies of base class data. This data, two copies will be received. So what is the problem in this? Suppose D wants to access the data members of the base class directly. So D wants to access the data members of the base class directly. Ambiguity problem will occur. So in order to overcome that problem, we are making derived class B and C as virtual. So if you are making derived class B and C as virtual, so we can access base class A data very easily. So there is a most important explanation in this. So we can write this diagram and this example and this explanation. Virtual base classes. So they may ask you the question like this. Explain virtual base class with example. So if they ask you this question, you have to answer this in this way. Okay. If you have any problems, ask me. Okay. So this is about virtual base classes. Okay. So let us move on one lab program to illustrate single level inheritance. So in this single level inheritance, what do you mean by single level inheritance? First, let us understand the meaning of single level inheritance. A class is derived from the single base class. A class is derived from the single base class is called single level inheritance. See, if a class is derived from a single base class, it is called single inheritance. In previous class we discussed it. Okay. The most important question, types of inheritance. So this is in programmatically we are writing and explaining it. Okay, now let us understand this single level inheritance program. So in order to implement single level inheritance, what we require? Tell me. So we require one base class we require, one derived class we require. Correct? So this is what base class. So this is derived class. Correct? I'm taking this. Derived class. So this derived class is derived from the single base class. So such inheritance is called as a single level inheritance. Correct? So programmatically I am explaining you. So see, in this I am taking header files iostream.h, input output stream.h, and conio.h, conditional input output header file. These two header file I am taking. This is one base class I am taking. This is base class I am taking. Okay, now in this base class, in private members I am declaring two variables. This is one variable, this is another variable. Two variable I am declaring. So this is integer variable, this is array variable. Array variable. Okay. So in public access specifier I am taking two member functions. The first member function is read member function and display member function. So what it will do, read member function. So I am taking inside of this read member function one C out, one C in I will take. So after execution output will be displayed, right? So this with the help of C out, whatever we are placed inside of inverted commas, that it will be printing. This will be printing. Okay, now again I am going to input roll number and name. So now tell me, so how the data will be displayed on the output. See, output screen, this is the output screen. So in the output screen, with the help of cout, it will display whatever we placed inside of inverted commas, that it will be printing. Roll number and name, it will print. Again it will come down. it will be blinking. It is allowing us to input a value. I am giving a value, roll number 101 and the name Radha. Okay now. So this will happen. Okay now. So whenever if you write these statements, two statements, so whenever if you call this member function, it will be executed and it prints the statement and it allows us to input these values. That means we are placing this 101 into roll number and Radha into name. Okay, now that is the functionality. So again, whatever there in roll number, that it will be displayed with the cout with the help of this member function. So 101 will be stored in roll number, right? This 101 will be printing, and name will be stored in Radha will be stored in name, right? So with the help of cout, this Radha will be printing. When it will be printed, that is a question. When it will be printed. So whenever if you call this member function, in that time, at that time it will be printing. So where we are calling these member functions, these are the member functions, compulsory we should call it. So without calling it won't execute. Okay, now where I am going to call this to, see, I am going to call this in main function, this ob.read. ob.read means what? Ob is an object. So this ob is which class I am taking? Derived class I am taking. See, so our main intention of this program is to display first marks and second marks and total marks of the students. Okay, now that's why I am taking one derived class. Take this derived class. All of you know that derived class syntax. So derived class name, public, this is a visibility mode, and base class name. So what is a base class name? Base I am taking here, base here. So you can observe base. So in the inside of the derived class, in private members, these are the private members. In the private members, I am declaring three variables, m1, m2 and m3. Okay now. So m1 belongs to first marks, m2 belongs to second marks, t belongs to total marks. Three variables I am declaring. So I am taking another two functions, read1 and read1 and display1. In read1, I am using cout statement. With this cout statement, whatever we are placing inside of inverted commas, that it will be printing. Again, m1, m2, we are placing values in m1 and m2. We are moving values in m1 and m2. Because whenever if you declare this m1 and m2, what happens? Memory will be allocated. Correct? Memory will be allocated. Suppose whenever if I declare this member, this variable, suppose m1 I am taking. So whenever if you declare a variable, what happens? Memory will be allocated. Again, memory will be allocated for m2. Okay now. And also t also memory will be allocated. In this memory, I am placing m1 value and m2 value. Placing value into m1, placing value into m2. So with the help of scene. So scene allows us to input a value into m1 and m2. So once if I got the value m1 and m2, what happens? It will be substituting here m1 value and m2 value, it will be added, moving into t. Okay now, moving into t. So t contains the addition of these two marks. So finally what happens? It will come here, it will print m1 value, whatever there in m1, and m2 value, whatever there in the m2. Okay now, finally t, we are moved t, right? That value it will be displayed. So all these member functions automatically it calls no, it won't call automatically. Whenever if you are calling these member functions, it will be executed. I will explain you. I will explain you. Once again, I will explain you. See, I am taking this one. See. So see in this. So object is created here. Object is created here. So ob.read. Ob.read means what? It will be called. Read function is called. So whenever if you call this function, what happens? So it will go read functionality. Okay now. So where it will go? Here it will go. It will be called here and it will execute. Again, read one is called. So whenever if you are executed this read one, what happens? Read one will be executed. Read one member function will be executed. This will be executed. Okay now? This read one. This will be executed. And again display and display one will be executed. Finally it prints the output in this format. Okay, output in this format, like enter roll number, name, and enter first and second marks, roll number, like that. Okay, see I am taking one I am moving into turbo C++. See, you can observe here. This is what I am explaining you. The same program I have included in this turbo C++. See, you can observe here. I am executing this program. Alt F9. Errors one. Where is the error? Okay. Wait, I will take another one. File open. Learn. Alt F9. Hey, 0 error 0 warnings. See, I am executing Control F9. See, enter name. I am giving name Radha. Okay. Enter roll number 101. Enter two subject marks. One is 99. Another one is 100. So roll number 101, name is Radha, subject 1 99, subject 2 100, total marks 199. So are you able to see the screen, right? So this is the output. This is the output for single level inheritance. So this is at the same time it is a lab program, single level inheritance. So be practice. So if you have any queries, you can ask me. Okay. And also moving on, I'm going to cover advantages of inheritance. So one of the most important question, advantages of inheritance. So advantages of inheritance: reusing existing code, faster development time, easy to maintain, easy to extend, and memory utilization. So these are the advantages of inheritance. So for easy, you can easily remember with one code. I made it like this, remf. Okay, let us take like this, remf. So means reusing existing code. You can write this explanation is enough. This, by mentioning this, you will get 5 marks easily. Faster development time, F faster development time, easy to maintain, easy to extend, and memory utilization. See, I'm explaining you. Reusing existing code means take suppose you are writing one program. The same program data it will be used in some other application. Okay now. So no need to write entire code again and again. We are taking this code and we are calling it in another program. So that is what reusing code. Faster development time means what? Faster development. So no need to write entire lengthy code, right? We are just calling this code, right? So it will be faster development time, obviously. And also we can easily maintain. See, base class data and the derived class data we can easily maintain. There is no difficulty in this. And also we can extend it. Suppose I am taking base class data on derived classes. I wanted to add one more derived class. You can extend one more derived class. You can extend it, no problem. That is, extending is very easy. And also it will consume very less memory. Memory utilization. Memory will be utilized very efficiently. That is the most important advantage in inheritance. So if you remember rem f, you can easily answer these 5 points. You can say points. So this is enough. If you write these 5 points, you will get 5 marks. Definitely 100%. Okay. So R means reusing existing code. E means easy to maintain. E means easy to extend. And M means memory utilization. F means faster development time. So these are what advantage of inheritance. Okay. So far we have discussed what are the question we have discussed. So the first question is virtual base classes. Explain virtual base classes with example. The second question, advantages of inheritance. Let us take example. The second question is write a program. Explain a program using single level inheritance. Write a program using single level inheritance. You can write single level inheritance. So the third one is advantages of inheritance. So these 3 questions we discussed today. Okay, please practice these 3 questions. If you have any queries, let me know. Okay, thank you everyone.